We'll return to Star Trek following these messages.
Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners.
I just feel like your voice kind of comes from what you're absorbing. And certainly we've seen loads of people who just do a straight up imitation of the art styles that most affect them. And I don't see a real downside to that, aside from when you start just outright swiping specific compositions. But if you really like the way a certain artist has built their work, see if that can lend an effect on you with the way you shape your art style. Why not? I mean, I'm still reflecting the influence from the artists that affected me 40 years ago, and I don't see any reason to stop.
Welcome back, everybody. Time again for another Word Balloon. We're going to do a Trek watch tonight. My usual co-conspirators are off on away missions of their own, but I was happy to recruit for the purposes of our show another fine Trek podcaster. As well. The Dork Court is the name of his show in general, but a lot of Star Trek talk as based on his Monster Maroon that he's currently wearing. And, of course, the man behind AIT Publications and Astronauts in Trouble, the fantastic graphic novel. Captain Larry Young, good to see you, buddy.
Wow, thanks a lot, John. That was incredible. I was telling my wife I was suiting up for you, and she's like, "Man, you really like dressing up for John Sontres, don't you?" And I'm like, "He's my admiral. I got to put on the command uniform." So here we go.
Well, I appreciate it. Larry gifted me with some fantastic old James Blish and other Star Trek novels from the 80s and earlier the 70s. Spock Must Die. Great thing. Larry, have you seen on YouTube, there's a guy that has taken a lot of the 70s Bantam books and using AI has made narration for them. And it kind of sounds like Kirk. It kind of sounds like Nimoy, like Trek to Mad World and Mud's Angels, among the Price of the Phoenix and the Fate of the Phoenix.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's all the good stuff, right?
Dude, as you know, we had those and we had the 3 seasons running over and over again, and the photo novels. That's about all we had.
Oh my God. I would get one of those for my birthday, the photo novels. That was a special treat. Boy, no, I don't get into a lot of the fanfic stuff and the AI stuff, but every once in a while somebody hits one that just gets me going. And AI James doing something that was James Bliss paperback covers. Is that what you're saying? They're like doing something with that art?
No. They're literally doing narration using an AI voice.
They're deep faking the actors.
Yeah, they're reading the books, and I mean, God, some of them are 8 hours long because that's how long the book is. Some are 5, but yeah, it's crazy. And really, they got that, and also there was an AI animation thing made that looked in the style of the 70s show. Mm-hmm. And it was the guy got AI voices to sound literal. I mean, I'm assuming he used samples of DeForest Kelley and Leonard Nimoy, and it's them in a bar talking about how it's like right after Act 1 of Generations. They think Kirk is dead. and they're just really McCoy is drunk and really pissed off and bummed.
That's great.
And Spock is trying to console him in the in a very Spockian way. And for being a fan production, I give the guy a lot of credit. I know. And listen, I get the AI thing, and I absolutely understand. Yeah. But I think that is and I love the Otoy recreation of Kirk's final moments and everything.
That stuff's incredible. Like, that's because a lot of it's not AI, but it's CG cleaned up. But like Sam Witwer put prosthetics on, and he looks like 57-year-old William Shatner. It was that was nuts.
And the guy who put on the hair and makeup to be Spock is frighteningly authentic.
That was that was some kind of magic. I can't remember that actor's name, and I feel like his first name is Lawrence.
You're right.
So I should remember it. But oh my God, that guy was just so otherworldly that I no, that's just Leonard Nimoy.
Well,
He's doing such a good job.
We're gonna talk about later as well some Star Trek news that has happened this week, and also whatever Star Trek things Larry wants to talk. We'll even entertain. I certainly have a Bond story that I want to talk about, James Bond story.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, we can get into other things if people want in the chat. But I do want to start with the Star Trek Con, the audio drama that is just, I think, amazingly good. Honestly, I don't know, but Larry, you've heard the first episode. I will say, honestly, I think it's the best written new Star Trek project since the new idiots have taken over.
I love it. All right, all phasers set to stun, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a giant fan of this format, so it may mean a little more when I agree with you 100%. There's a lot of things preventing me from digging it. I'm very visually oriented, so these are just audio dramas. There's a whole component, but I love Star Trek so much. There's no trouble picturing what's going on. And the second I made the little adjustment that, this is John, and it's not Ricardo Montalban, it's the guy from Lost, Naveen Andrews. I'm good. And they have Captain Sulu on the Excelsior with Tuvok is a framing sequence, finding their stuff. Like, I was good. I was surprised. I try to always embrace new stuff with an open mind, but I'm a human being, right? So I can say I'm embracing something with an open mind, but I'm really kind of more like, okay, let's see what you got. And that's not really open-minded. And boy, it completely cleared the bar and satisfied me. And I can't wait to listen to the rest of them. They did a great job.
I appreciate that, and I agree. And also, I get what you're saying too, because I do think audio drama is an ask, and I can appreciate that. Yeah. I got to tell you, I grew up on old time radio in the 70s, and really loved it.
I love old time radio, but there was just something really compelling to listening to it out of my radio. So I loved Dr. Demento. All right. I used to listen to the Saint, the Vincent Price Saint, all the time.
Yes, sure.
And I very, very much enjoyed NPR's Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back adaptations. So it's not like it's just, you described it perfectly. For me, it's just an ask, right? It's not like, oh, here's some dumb movie. I'll be like, well, I'll start watching it at lunch, and if it's good, I'll finish it. There's no bar to hurdle for movies or TV with me, or even comics, really. Like, if somebody goes, you have to read this, I'll read it. So it's just, I completely respect you and your Trek guys like Mitch, and I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the guys' names, but your show is amazing. And so I'm like, if you're telling me this is good, hey, I'll listen to the first one for good old John. And I loved it. I want to thank you. I will probably start proselytizing.
Well, I'm letting League of Word Balloon listeners. If you subscribe via Patreon, $3 a month at least, you got a Zoom link, and you can join us, or I should say a StreamYard link, and you can join us. And man, Wes is backstage, and he keeps saying some great stuff. So I will add Wes to the conversation. Good to see you, man.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Hey, Wes.
Thanks for coming on. I'll explain, and also we're gonna get into spoilers. And I'll be honest, I want to talk about all 4 episodes. So Larry is gonna be.
Oh, I'm good.
I figured if anything, Larry, I think it's gonna make you want to listen to the other 3 that you haven't heard yet.
I'm definitely in, and I feel like right now I'm just gonna do a reaction video in real time.
Excellent. But yeah, we'll
There's a thumbnail.
If you're interested and you haven't heard the show at all yet, you might want to tune out and watch or listen to a few. It is on YouTube as well as all the audio podcast platforms, including Spotify, anywhere you get podcasts, kind of like Word Balloon. But it's great, and I'm really, really impressed. But for people who don't know, this is a story that bridges the original Space Seed story with Montalban, and we go up to Wrath of Khan. At least that's what they say. It's 9 episodes long. We've had 4 so far, and we're about 4 months into their stay on SETI Alpha 5 as of the 4th episode. But Naveen Andrews is Khan. Ren Schmidt from For All Mankind is Marla McGivers, the redhead that betrays the Enterprise and was helping Khan with the mutiny, and then all of a sudden helps the ship again. But she is exiled along with Khan to SETI Alpha 5, and they're going to try and make a go of it. Okay, fine. And yes, it's going to be rough terrain, but Khan seems to be up to the challenge until they get there and things start to go wrong. And that's fantastic, and I really am impressed with the acting. Before we get into nitty gritty, Wes, what do you think of the show so far?
I think it's been great. I just watched episode 4 this morning, so this is a perfect time for it. I'm not an audiobook guy. I'm not an audio drama guy, but this is really good, and they have a great cast. Even other than the 2 main leads, very strong voice actors in this, and it's taking some very intriguing turns in what this is going to be. And I'm assuming, we're 4 months in the story, so I think we're getting close to when things are going to start really turning, and I'm very intrigued by this. No, this has been great. This has been really
good. Well, I mean, we all know about again, I'm assuming everyone watching and listening has certainly seen Wrath of Khan, so we know about those gross worms that crawl into your ear and take over your brain. We've already seen that happen or heard that. It's so funny. Wes and I are saying "seen." It's all in our minds, kids. It's all audio, it's immersive. And I really appreciated that Marla McGivers is given a lot of agency that they didn't obviously have back in the 60s. She's obviously dead by the time of Wrath of Khan, but she's kind of screwed in both ways because she betrayed her ship. So if she would have stayed on the Enterprise, they probably would have court-martialed her or thrown her in jail or something. And she chose to go with Khan. Well, the augments, I'll call them augments, they're not crazy about her. Khan is even not sure of her motivations. She's not sure of Khan's motivations. He's like, I don't know if you're really into being here or anything. She's like, well, I don't know if you're really into having me here, other than the fact that, and am I wrong, Wes? Initially, it sounded like the augments maybe were sterilized in some way on Earth.
So I know what you're talking about. So the female augments are sterile, but the males are not. Like they even make a direct point of saying Khan had many consorts on Earth. So he was having many prodigy births, and I'm assuming that ties into, well, we all know who from Strange New Worlds. So I can't help but wonder, just to editorialize, if that was thrown in there maybe more recently. Maybe that wasn't Nicholas Meyer's original thing, but yeah, that's the story about that. So, and that does play into the story, the fact that the women are sterile.
Yeah, but we'll again, I don't mind spoiling. Pete Beiser waiting backstage. We'll get to you, Pete. I promise. Can
I jump in, John, about Marla before we get away from Marla?
Yeah.
They do say that, speak to her motivations in the first one, which I can speak authoritatively to because I just listened to it about 37 minutes ago. But they do. She nods to it. She wants to have her quarters in the cargo section. She's not going to sleep with him, and she says that I'm here as a historian. So I found that really cool, and I did realize that was what's her name? You just said her name from For All
Ren
Mankind.
Schmidt.
Ren.
Ren Schmidt. Yeah.
Her voice is very distinctive there because I love For All Mankind, and I just went, oh yeah, right.
No, she's
But
great.
it's making, man, the production on this show is amazing. It's very good. I enjoy it.
Yeah, honestly, from a technical standpoint, just like the live action stuff and the animation, it looks amazing and it sounds amazing. And it is. This is what I love about modern audio drama. All the sound engineers get it, and it is very immersive. I mean, you put your earbuds in, and you feel like you're there. And they're very good at the background sound effects, a good use of classic Trek sound effects as well.
Oh yeah,
and I love that they're framing the story with Sulu and Tuvok and the Excelsior, and it's great to have 90 whatever year old George Takei still sounding great. Tim Russ obviously doing a great job as well. So I appreciate that, and as Larry will hear as we get into further episodes, especially episode 4, there's a wonderful exchange with Tuvok and the historian, the Excelsior historian,
right,
that is going down to investigate whatever MacGyver's left behind as far as her logs and stuff. And there's a very interesting reveal we'll get to in a second. But I like Wes was saying, I think the other actors are great, and I think they are giving us nice little small subplots for the rest of the augments that we're covering and everything. There's a great kind of Roman backstabbing thing within the community of double cross, and that's happening as well. And really, I think Nick Myers wrote a great story. I wonder, and I don't know if we'll ever know, because the Kirsten Beyer and David Mack adapted Myers' original idea, which was going to be a 3-part miniseries. Whether they thought it was too expensive, or I know Nick Meyer can be volatile. In fact, I was trying to find
volatile
the quote, but supposedly there's a quote of him that's kind of making the rounds that he's been blackballed.
Oh, really?
Not canceled, blackballed. And and I can see that because he knows more than they do, and I don't blame him for having that kind of feeling. Given that, I know, and Wes, I appreciate the smile because, man, I won't deny it. It's half humor, but also half serious in terms of, I'm sorry, this guy has proven himself a lot more than the current people have.
Absolutely.
Well, and John, I don't want to derail us into another topic, but I have a feeling that maybe some of the folks in charge at Secret Hideout, I'm not going to say feel threatened by other people.
No, go ahead, Wes.
They know more about Star Trek. So, okay, just real quick. And John, I don't know if you guys have covered this, that Star Trek Legacy was an idea from Terry Matalas coming out of Picard season 3. And I think earlier this year, Jerry Ryan let it slip that Secret Hideout or whoever at Paramount came to her with hey, let's do a Captain 7 idea. Let's do a Captain 7 show. And she's like, well, is it Legacy? Well, no, then I'm not interested.
That's right.
Boy, that was very interesting. And, I agree with you, John. I think there is maybe a little bit of professional jealousy, as there is in many industries, but
sure.
I think you're onto something. Personally.
Or there's a click, and it's like, hey, you're either with us or you're not with us. And I mean, my God, Walter Mosley is a subject we covered on this show. Yeah, and the way he was treated in the Discovery writing room, and it's Walter Mosley, for God's sake. And speaking from his own personal experience, and again, I don't know, and also I suspect, especially talking to my friends who are in the TV writing business, that they could likely be noted to death in terms of what the network wants, but also what Kurtzman wants, and also. I'm sorry, Akiva Goldsman, you lost me when you were doing Batman poorly. So I expect nothing good from you, working on Strange New Worlds. And no, and I've said this before, and I don't know how you guys feel. Hey, how about if we do Star Trek Year One with the original characters? No, absolutely not. Get the hell out of here. Stop. You got 8 years, kids. Goodbye. Time to go. You guys suck. I'm sorry, they're not good. They're not good, right?
I've been following this pretty closely, so I don't think we have to worry about it.
I don't think so either, Larry.
Once the Skydance merger went through, I just was listening to the Tachyon Pulse guy this morning at lunch, and he said, did you hear that this morning where he's like, yeah, they're very disappointed with Starfleet Academy. So I don't think we're gonna have to worry about it. But I also don't think we're gonna get really good new Star Trek until about 2030 or so.
It might take well, and I wonder, both of you, I wonder if when Secret Hideout goes away, if they can hang on to the sets, because it'd really be a goddamn shame if they got to rebuild everything from scratch again. Wes, you have a thought on that?
Well, yes, and I know that's been, it's so weird. That's been kind of the pitch for Star Trek Year One, saying, well, we have all these sets. It's like, really? That's your main driving force, is you have good sets? My humble suggestion, take those sets, redress them, give them to somebody that can do a Star Trek show. Again, this is how Star Trek used to be. 75% of the episodes were on the ship.
Yeah.
You can still do that. Just, redress the sets, call it a different ship. You'll be fine.
Well, and also, as the Tachyon Pulse guy pointed out, these shows are so expensive. And look at a show like The Expanse that did it literally for half the price. And it's like these guys, they spend money like drunken sailors, as we know, because it's been no disrespect to the Navy, but
no disrespect to drunk
or Starfleet, or drunks for that matter. But this Starfleet Academy said it's the most expensive set ever made for Starfleet or Star Trek, and it's like, yeah, was that a good idea?
Why? Right? It's this giant open area with a tree in the middle, like a cruise ship. Like, why?
Does it have a tree? I didn't notice that.
I don't know. But that something dumb is like that in it.
Probably.
I don't know.
Probably. Yeah. All right. Let's get to the big hinge that happened this week. Marla and Khan are warming up to each other. Marla is showing Khan human ways to really think about being just beyond a blind leader, because a couple of the augments pass away under tough circumstances, and not worth going into details, but she's like, you really should have a funeral for them. And he's like, well, I honored them with my memory. And it's like, no, this is for the community. And that move really touches Khan, and he makes a move to agree to that. The augments are loosening up with Marla, which is great. And to the point where finally she is cohabitating with Khan, and they even have a marriage. If you're weddings, as they used to say on The Simpsons, which fine, whatever, that's fine. Again, it just shows they're getting closer. And I appreciated the progression. They took their time with it on this show, which is great. But the historian on the Excelsior throws a grenade in the room when she's talking to Tuvok, and still going over the tapes and everything. And she's like, can I get access to Kirk's logs regarding the whole space seed incident and what he did? And he's like, no, those are privileged. I can't. Only Captain Sulu can maybe get access to that. Why? And she goes, well, did Kirk know that SETI Alpha 6 was going to blow up and screw up SETI Alpha 5? And he's like, no, of course not. What are you talking about? That was a natural phenomenon. Whatever. And I know I'm giving the Telegraph version. But then she's like, yeah, how about 5 years later when the Reliant shows up with Captain Terrell and Chekhov as first officer? Didn't they notice that the SETI Alpha system used to have 6 planets and now only has 5? How come they didn't know? And she's like, did they forget how to count? And it's like, wow, okay. Now we're into something that's really interesting, because it's true. I mean, that's obviously, it's kind of like, why did Khan recognize Chekhov as far as the making of the movie, that it's an easy slip. And also I have, unlike these current writers, I have a lot of respect for Nick Meyer, who, if you know the backstory of Wrath of Khan, like took 5 different scripts and cobbled them into one in like 2.5 weeks because they had to start shooting or not. And so it was that kind of thing. But that is cool. That is a great story idea of something to explore. And are we going to get Walter Koenig now on the show along with Takei? Because I would love to hear Commander Sulu's explanation of why they didn't know about SETI Alpha 6 blowing up.
Don't you think it's something dumb about Chekhov though? Like the fans all say, "Oh yeah, because Chekhov was attached to security, and that's how they knew each other." So
no. That explanation I get, but this is a good story thing to hang your head on and go, wait a minute, that's a really good point. And there's to me, there's story potential there.
You just do the same thing. They kind of answer it in the movie, right? When Khan goes, "This is SETI Alpha 5," right? It's just because they flew in. You know, maybe they came in a different way, and nobody's counting moons. Who cares?
Well, no, I don't know, Larry. The fact that again, you
got had a red shirt. Who cares? Let's just keep going. That's what I'm saying.
No, you see, this is listen. If you're going to do a prequel, then give us something.
It's good.
Yeah, I know you're just fucking with me, and that's fine. God bless you. You know that.
Just squeezing more airtime for you, John.
What'd you think of that, Wes? When you heard that?
And that's been a thing that, you know, ever since Wrath of Khan, people have speculated and joked about it. I think that because in Star Trek for the last 8 years, we've gotten a lot of explanations of things that weren't really necessary. I think if you can take something like that and give it a very unique twist on a story that adds to what's come before, I'm all for it. Now, I don't know where this is going, but so far it's been good. So I'm willing to give them rope, give them leeway. Like, all right, let's see where this goes.
And when's the last time we felt that way about new Star Trek, where we didn't know where this was going and we're intrigued by where it's going? You know,
I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but really, like Picard season 3, Prodigy season 2.
Yep.
Really
well, and I'll even give them the opening of season 3 on Discovery about the burn, because it's like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, all the dilithium is now inert.
Yeah.
Okay, why? And now what? And then, you know, it's a sad boy that lost his mother, and he screamed. Really?
Yeah.
Really? You guys suck. I'm sorry, that sucks. I'm sorry. And now I see. I wouldn't go to this extreme with Franco, Wayne, and Mitch. They'd be like, calm down. Just calm down. But
John, you're very passionate, and that is not a bad thing.
Wes, I appreciate that, because truly, it's, you take this too seriously. No, I don't take it seriously at all. I just want good Star Trek, man. Because again, Larry and I have been enjoying good Star Trek for over 50 years.
Yeah, man. It's my religion, so I want it to be good.
Yeah.
Said the man in the monster maroon. Absolutely, man. Captain Tom. Indeed. No, and by the way, honestly, everybody, when Dorcourt focuses, well, in general, Larry's podcast is great, and I love when he and John Price get together. I miss Dan on the show as well.
Dan's busy now, and John's got his 2 kids, so we don't do it every Thursday like we do. So we have Dorcourt's now. Tuesday is Randall. We do movies he hasn't seen, so I can make fun of him. And then Friday is the old original Dorcourt, where Mark and Steve and me, and sometimes Walker. And so now he's in college. A couple of times he's like phoned in from the sidewalk, so that's been pretty cool. But thanks for the kind words. Yeah, we chew over Star Trek once a week usually. John Price.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Wes, I'm going to let you get to your tin hat points.
Yeah. I just real 2 quick things, and Please. I know this is a little bit beyond Khan, but speaking of the burn, real quick, the last Starship first issue is out now, and John, I know you got to read a little bit of it. I've gotten to read some spoiler things of it. It sounds like they're taking something that was done previously and doing a unique twist on it.
Yep.
Which that's the way to do it.
Yeah, that's all we want.
It's IDW. If you don't know, Larry, it's Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly, who all their Star Trek stuff is exceptional, and also Chris Cantwell, and everybody that IDW has had in the last 5 years working on Star Trek has done an incredible job. I give it up to Heather Antos, who is editing and picking these people. My buddy Tim Sheridan took over on Lower Decks from Ryan North. Really, really great stuff. But yes, Last Starship takes place days after the burn. And there is this, and it's not going to solve it, obviously, because we know it's not solved until Discovery. And so this Andorian, and this should intrigue people if you're not aware, with the Last Starship, this Andorian captain decides to go back to the starbase from Picard season 3, where we had the Easter egg of Kirk's DNA and body, I guess, in stasis, and they have cloned a young James Kirk to tackle the mystery of the burn. And I am absolutely in, and Lancey and Kelly are brilliant. And again, taking an interesting idea that unfortunately wasn't a great payoff in Discovery. And again, I don't need them to solve the problem. I think that is amazing. That's hilarious. Annoying critic right there. Yes. Yeah, man. No, it's amazing. I agree. So
John, you made a great comparison. It's like Steve Rogers coming out of the ice.
Yeah.
In Marvel.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's Jim Kirk, 900 years later, things have literally burned, and it's like, this is the guy that wants to, that they kind of need right now. They need somebody that, hey, when stuff's hit the fan, you need a guy or somebody like Jim Kirk.
Yeah. It's also kind of like that Stallone movie, Demolition Man, in terms of, coming out of cryogenics and everything. Yeah. You guys don't know what you do. I got an idea how the law should go. Okay, great.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So real quick, my tin hat theory, if you'll indulge me. And by the way, I thank you for having me on as much as you have. I appreciate it, and it's been great.
Hey, Wes, you're a good league listener and Patreon supporter. It is my pleasure, and that's one of the reasons why I want to do more than just the book club. Where honestly, I'm even thinking about it, and really this is for everybody. I'm thinking about possibly doing other books when Brian can't do it, because I really felt bad about us missing the meeting in August and everything. But like I said, I'm going to do this every week, and if you're a patron, then you can join us, and be on camera like Wes is, and like Pete is going to be in a minute.
Yeah, and by the way, really looking forward to November, talking about Parker by Darwin Cook. Really looking forward.
While we're talking, October book club is Birds of Prey Volume 1, Kelly Thompson. Fantastic. Great female superhero stuff. Who cares if it's female? Great superhero team stuff. And really, Kelly's very quickly become one of my favorite writers. But yes, in November, we're going to do Parker Volume 1 with Darwin Cook's wonderful renditions of Parker and stuff. So, Larry, you're welcome to join as a special guest if you ever want to be on the book club.
Oh, my God. You know that I listen in whenever I can. John, you're a goddamn hero as far as I'm concerned.
Come on, man. You guys are really nice for saying all the nice things. I really appreciate it.
You're providing a service, man.
So,
just trying to have fun, man. Go. Yeah.
Okay. If I can get a little crazy. Yeah.
Yes, please.
So and for the record, John, just to heap some more praise, I got off the Strange New Worlds bandwagon after season 1. I've kept up through you guys, so thank you. You're suffering for my pleasure and me staying informed. So thank you. I appreciate your sacrifice. I've had this theory for a while that in the last season of Strange New Worlds, they're going to have Khan. They're going to bring Khan on, and that's going to be La'an's big thing. She is going to come face to face with her great whatever grandfather. And that's how she's going to ascend. I don't know, something. And so we have, well, here's the thing, John. We now have an actor playing Khan.
Yeah. You've ruined this for us. If they don't do that, they suck.
Maybe.
Well, I think as far as what's going to happen to La'an, and to explain why another tragedy for Spock, and also that he'll have no memory of this when the original series starts, that we already had the temporal cop show up in the Toronto episode with her and Kirk. and
Right.
Khan.
Yes.
And she's going to go, yeah, listen, we went through our records. You're an anomaly. You don't belong here.
Yeah.
And she's going to cease to exist. And everyone's going to be, hey, security officer, whoever, who now replaces La'an. And Spock will have no memory. So therefore, kind of the way the Metrons, you're caught up on season 3, right, Lair?
Oh, yes. Much to everyone's dismay.
We're going to change your perception of the Gorn.
Yeah.
And we're going to change their perception. And now no one will remember these terrible conflicts. Bullshit. Hacky writing. Sorry.
My
really
big problem with this upcoming thing, like Wes has just ruined Star Trek for me, because if they don't do that, they're going to suck. Because that's a great idea. But my fear is it's going to take place in the same season with the fucking puppet episode. So they have this badass thing where Naveen Andrews goes up and goes, "Oh, hey, everybody, relax. I'm here. I'm Khan. I'll get all that nutty shit out of your taste out of your mouth," which is fantastic. But all right, it's the puppet episode.
And by the way, I'm not saying this is a good idea.
No, it is.
Just saying
You're good.
It's a Strange New Worlds idea. Yeah, it's a Strange New Worlds idea. I get it, buddy.
I think that works. That works 100%.
Hilarious.
Anyway.
All right, Wes. No, good job. Was that it? Was that your?
No, that's it. That's all I had. Like I said,
I don't even think that's a conspiracy. I think that's happening. I think you time traveled and have come back and said at least one episode is going to be fucking great.
Wes is due to get back in his time machine. Art Bell from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And be on as a time traveler and everything. I can appreciate that. So
thank you.
All right, Wes. Good luck. Get back in your TARDIS, and I look forward to you coming on again. I'm going to do this next week, so if you want to come back, you're more than welcome to, buddy.
I love that. Thank you guys both, John, Larry. You guys have a good one.
Take it easy, Wes. Thanks a lot, man. So yeah, great observation. Stanley wanted to know where Mitch, Wayne, and Franco are. They are busy, and also they haven't caught up. Now, again, I'm subjecting Larry to these spoilers, but again,
I'm of the age where I knew Yoda was blue and looked like a gnome, and Darth Vader was Luke's father like 3 months beforehand, because I read the novelization. So I'm from the world where like knowing it isn't the point at all. It's experiencing it with your friends, right? And
how's it dramatically going to play out? You're absolutely right. I agree.
I love when somebody like you, whose opinion I respect in pop culture, like massively, possibly even more than my own, and my ego is giant. So this is how much respect I have for you. Is saying, "Oh, this thing's cool. I'm going to check it out," right? And I loved it. Wow. So I don't mind. You could perform the next 3 episodes for me, and I would still listen to them because
it's good.
It's good.
It's really, really good. Here, Pete Beiser joining us. How you doing, Pete?
Hey, John. Hey, Larry.
How's it going, man?
Hey, Pete.
Good. I feel like I'm wearing a Mando shirt.
Yeah, that's great.
Starfleet uniform on. I don't know. Hopefully we can get along here.
No, of course. Yes. I mean, what are Mandalorians except Starfleet guys are Mandos without helmets, right?
I just picked this up randomly and I just totally forgot I was going to be sitting and talking about Star Trek. So my bad.
Are you caught up on Khan?
I am. Yeah. I'm enjoying it tremendously.
What'd you think about that point that the historian is now making to Tuvok about what the Reliant knew or didn't know?
It was interesting, hearing you guys talk about it just a few minutes ago. It reminded me of what we've experienced in comics for decades, right? It's a total retcon, and it's just kind of neat to weave in new elements within holes in the plot, right? So I'm curious as to where this ends up going. I don't know, it's interesting if you can make Khan seem a little bit more of a likable person. Can they kind of soil James Kirk's name, I guess, at the same time? I don't know kind of where they're headed with this. But that was the big thing I wanted to ask you guys. Just in today's day and age, right, there's somebody that was clearly in 1967 a villain, just flat out. That's it. Don't know why, don't know how, was born that way. And I feel like what we're seeing here, or actually listening to here, is showing us how he kind of came to be in Star Trek II. You know, as demented as what we kind of saw. I don't know if it needs explanation, right? I always just assumed he was always kind of crazy and just had a couple bad days. Are we just seeing those bad days, or are they really trying to build a case as to why he is this much of a psychopath when we see him, you know, in the Wrath of Khan? I don't know.
Yeah. No, given Nick Meyer's work on Khan, the Wrath of Khan, and the fact that he was the original guy behind this story, I trust his, you know, instincts. And again, it humanizes this bad guy. He's still a bad guy, of course he is. My God! And again, Larry will learn as he goes on, because Khan is, you know, not above killing his own people that aren't politically in the way, but are, you know, just obstacles based on the story, and doesn't want the rest of the tribe to understand that, because they really are blindly still loyal to him. So I understand his motivations, even though they're bad. But also, like I said, Marla is really softening him up and reminding him of his human side, and really saying things like, "Hey, we need a funeral because you got to let the people mourn." And
Wow.
you know, that's important for our community.
Well, I don't want to spoil Larry. I don't know where you're at.
No. Go ahead. I'm good. I just
Go ahead.
So John, you were talking about earlier putting on the AirPods and listening and how good the production is. There's a point, I won't say what character, is strangling or breaking the neck of another character, but like you kind of hear the crunch, and I was like, oh, this is good radio drama. I really enjoying listening to this person die.
It's again, they go for it, and that's what I'm saying. Like, my theory is, from a production standpoint, that kind of this and the animated shows, Kurtz was like, yeah, do what you want. All right, see you later. I'm too busy. I'm busy with the real stuff. And in fact, we'll get into it. Now, shame on me, Wes. If you are still watching, I'd love you to be in the chat and address the question of, should this be canon, or is it just another tie-in like a novel or a comic or whatever? I understand. Don't give me the argument, well, it's always been that way. I understand that. But this is such more of a direct production of Secret Hideout. Kirsten Beyer is one of the main producers of all this stuff. David Mack has been in the room for all this stuff and is one of the go-to writers and things. And they took Nick Meyer's original idea.
it comes from Nick Myers. I think it's absolutely canon. Like, but you know, what does that mean?
Well, I hear you there. But the great thing is, and I'm going to refer to an article that it was that Trek movie, and I'll even put it out here on the screen so we can all follow along. I feel like Rob Burnett. This is what Rob does all the time on his.
Can I just real quick, while you're looking for that, and tell Peter I really appreciate him bringing up the trope of the whole sympathy for the devil thing for the 60s, that he's obviously a villain. You don't need to explain the villain. He's the devil, right? But you know, he's just minding his own business. So I really like that they're trying to sort of, you know, give Khan a point of view that's relatable.
I agree. Here, before I get to this article, I want to point out annoying critic quotes Space Seed, and here we go. First, I want to get the other quote that he had. Here it is. Mr. Spock, you misunderstood us. We could be against him and still admire him at the same time. Because, yeah, as Scotty points out, there were no massacres under his rule, Spock, and rather under his rule. And Spock says, and very little freedom, no wars until he was attacked. Yeah, the other conceit is, obviously, there were other, I assume, other augments that were in other parts of the world, and they started a war against each other. But at one point, Khan was controlling like a fourth of the planet or whatever. And yeah, again, you know, he was a benevolent despot, if you will.
Can you imagine the world building they did though, to do all that?
Yep. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, you know, looking back, you know, obviously this is done many years ago in the past, and who knew that people would be talking about this?
Right.
Almost 60 years later. I feel like that of all the things in terms of putting something on the timeline that actually happened. The eugenics war is the one thing we kind of can't really explain. I think when people have talked about it, it's kind of been like, well, yeah, that was happening in the 90s, like kind of when nobody was paying attention and like, everybody was like, whatever, listening to grunge music or something like that, right? And clearly it was like an earth-shattering war event, right? So like it's kind of tough for me, like the timeline of reality in Star Trek deviated at that point.
Well, yeah, but also two things. One, and I agree with Rob Burnett, who says it's not our history. It is an alternate. The Star Trek universe itself is an alternate Earth from ours. There are a lot of things that happened on their world that happened in our world. Lincoln and the various other historical references they make of 20th century and previous, Genghis Khan, things like that. But that said, and also I appreciate what Greg Cox said, that it could have been a secret war that was kind of a Cold War that was happening covertly that we weren't aware of and stuff. And I like both of those explanations. So for me, it doesn't have to be the real world. If it needs to be for other people, I absolutely, and that's the thing, guys. I appreciate everything, all the nice things everybody said about me and my opinions about Star Trek. I'm not right. It's just my POV. And I mean, I tried to explain that to one of my co-hosts a couple of weeks ago. And it's like, yeah, don't take it so personally that I disagree with you. It's fine. In fact, it's good. And I'm sorry I'm a little sorry that we all are agreeing about this being as great as this. But then again, I'm just happy about talking about good Star Trek. But anyway, Canon. I want to talk about this article. And here, I'm going to put it up. And this is from, I believe, Trek Central. And it's is it Trek Movie, excuse me, TrekMovie.com. Kirsten Byron writing an iconic villain as tragic hero in Star Trek Khan. And this is from October 2nd, just yesterday. And I'm going to get to the real important part of it, or the part I want to get. So is Star Trek Khan now part of canon? Read the whole article, though, folks. It's excellent. And Kirsten Byers, the co-creator of this, well, again, based on Nick Meyer's thing, I don't know the answer to that yet. There are conversations I need to have with people because I could see arguments for both, but I don't know where that's going to fall. And I hope ultimately it doesn't matter. Come to the story, enjoy the story or don't. It's not going to contradict anything we already know that was previously established, but it is going to make it deeper and richer in ways I don't think you can quite imagine yet. So that's the quote I wanted to really focus on. And I understand, I appreciate her candor. David Mack was on a record a couple months ago saying, no, it's a tie-in, just like novels are tie-ins. Okay, all right, I get that. But it is, again, it's produced in-house. And I know they had partners. Realm was a partner, this audio drama company, and the Roddenberry organization, Rod Roddenberry's company is involved, things like that. But really, it's like, and I am of two minds. One is, it's typical, like Wes was saying earlier, well, I didn't make it, and Akiva didn't make it, so therefore it's a tie-in, and no, it doesn't count. And I'm like, yeah, but Kristen Byers is in the room. But also, do they? I would have liked that for them to have said, like, right up front, hey, this is a tie-in. It doesn't affect canon. Or, oh no, this is absolutely canon. And part of me wonders if they want to see what the fan reaction is before they claim it, or also that they might be screwing with us on purpose to get us talking about it more and wondering if it is canon or not. I'm not really sure. I mean, that's how tin hat I am, that, are they trying? I know that you know that I know, in the words of the Honeymooners. I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know. But also, I can't, like Wes said earlier, part of me just thinks, no, we didn't come up with it. Nick Meyer did. We don't like Nick Meyer. So, yeah, we committed to it to some degree, but we're going to dismiss it. And that's one of the reasons I'm assuming that it's an audio drama rather than a full on camera show. So I don't know. Thoughts, gentlemen, on canon or not canon?
Well, I appreciate that she said, I agree with what she said. And I think she's coming from a really cool writerly standpoint.
Sure.
That it doesn't matter if the story's
right.
good, right? Like, because if the story's great and everybody responds positively to it, they go, yes, that's exactly what happened. And here's your 2-hour movie with Naveen Andrews, right? And if nobody likes it, it's like, it was a little radio play. We thought we liked it. Some people like it, and there's no harm. It's not
do you think?
evil like Discovery.
Well, I mean, I have to defer to you guys in terms of all the programming we've seen on Paramount Plus, and what the hell was it called before that?
CBS All Access.
CBS All Access, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really bad. That was bad. Is so? Should I take the Adventures of Pike and Crew? Is that canon, or does that take place in a different timeline?
They claim it's canon. They claim that they are writing that this stuff fits to the events eventually getting to the era of the original series. And oh no, this is canon. And it's like, okay.
Here's what I had to do for myself. That I would tell people all the time that the original series is the universe where Kennedy had 2 terms. And then this is what happened.
Yeah.
And so I think Strange New Worlds and Discovery is just the Kelvin universe early days. And that's the only way I can watch it because it's so wrong and off and atonal from what everybody's been watching for 60 years.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can do to sit down and watch it.
What's the long-term hopes of like real hardcore fans? Like I've kind of I'm hoping that if this regime change happens in the Star Trek world and hopefully in our own world, that's another story, that all this bad memories will be wiped away, hopefully, right? Like that, like somebody will come in with a magic wand and just say, to Larry's point, this all happened in some alternate universe, and then they could.
Yeah, what do you think, Larry? Before I comment, go ahead.
I really hesitate to speak for all fans ever because I had a really cool but also typical experience of being a fan. Like it's my idea that people become Star Trek fans because you get to join the ship, right? You're on the crew. Like most people are sort of like asocial weirdos that are like, I really enjoy this action show about philosophy. That's a pretty weird audience slice. And I'm not sure there's a Star Trek audience in the modern day because my hope is that just somebody who understands Star Trek and understands narrative just does a TV show, not streaming, just network, NBC or CBS.
Yeah, I don't know.
Give me 23 episodes of guys walking around in front of light blue painted plywood. I don't need CG stuff that makes it look like I'm really traveling in through space because I'm watching it on my phone this big. It's just, that's not Star Trek. Star Trek is like, we're not going to kill today.
Right.
There's not a line from Star Trek in the last 5 years that I can quote. And it's not because I haven't seen them 30 times like the old show each,
Sure.
It's because there's nothing quotable.
I know.
I don't know.
I made good friends with Jason Isaac when Discovery was about to begin, and I was at New York Comic Con, and I went to the panel, and I asked them, I said, hey, this is the first time a Star Trek show is going to be locked behind a paywall, and people won't be able to see it on network television. And something feels off about that, right? And the producers were quiet. He actually spoke up and he said, well, I'll speak for the actors. He goes, we're all working actors, and we just take the job where we can take a job. And that was pretty much it. It was nice on him for answering my question. But really, and I'm going back up to New York Comic Con next Thursday, I didn't get into the Star Trek panel. But like I was for a second there during the reservations, I was thinking, do I get up and kind of be a dick again? But this time, like, really call out Kurtzman and say something to him in front of an entire room of people? Or am I going to, like, look like an internet troll come to life in person? But I feel like somebody should say something that this ain't good. I don't know if that's an appropriate place, but, like, I kind of want to do it.
Well, the trick of asking a tough question is obviously phrasing it in a way that isn't offensive, but an innocent kind of, hey, I don't understand X or whatever. Because I always have my Jim Gray story, the boxing reporter. Larry, he was at the All-Star game, the '99 All-Star game, where it was the All-Century team, and he's the guy who asked Pete Rose, "Don't you think you owe the fans an apology for what you did?" And then, of course, we saw him a month later in Vegas for a Tyson fight, and it's me and all the other reporters. And sorry, everybody. I love this. I love telling this story because really, it's like this is why Jim Gray doesn't have a lot of respect from me. But literally, so it's the truth. So we're all, again, I'm just a radio reporter covering boxing. All these old newspaper and magazine boxing guys that have been on the beat many years more than me. And one of them was like, "Hey Jim, what the hell with Pete Rose at the All-Star game?" Asking him that embarrassing question. Of course, Rose didn't answer it. He's like, "Well, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm really appreciative that the commissioner's letting me on the field, given that I'm banned from baseball and all that." So he's like, "Yeah, but it was great television." And I'm like, "No, great television is getting an answer to your question." And they're all like, "Suntress is right. Suntress is right." It was the Mike Tyson fight, and he's in the ring with Tyson, another knockout win. Mike, you had a big win and everything. Let's talk about the fight. And he goes like, wait a minute. Before we start, that was very disrespectful what you did to Pete Rose.
Aw.
Oh, wow.
When the convicted rapist corrects you,
Right. Hey, man, that's not cool.
I'm sorry, but you blew it. Anyway, but no. But no, I think it's fair, and I don't know, the randomness, Pete, if when they're going to get a tough question. But that's the thing. You don't come to be a jerk, but you're like, hey, I don't get X, whatever. But
yeah, that's kind of why I'm saying about All Access. Now I remember what it was, and that was such a foreign thing, and that was the beginning for me of like, oh, this might not turn out well. But I do agree with Larry. I do think that like it should be a full season. It should be available for everybody. Maybe people will learn something about humanity if they had access to the program. But
I mean, they're doing it with Star Wars as well on Disney, and I understand. And again, I can appreciate that. Sadly, this is the way TV's going, guys, whether we like it or not. I mean, there will be some sort of free product, but it wouldn't surprise me if over-the-air television becomes an aftermarket for what they make on streaming. We're already getting that to a degree because of the strikes and because of COVID. ABC was running Only Murders in the Building, the Hulu show, things like that, and other scripted shows as well. So I just think, unfortunately, the genie's out of the bottle. But I agree with you. I would like more episodes regardless, but no, and again, the Canon thing, I agree. Just make it good. That's fine. But it doesn't kind of bother me that.
Can I put a finer point
before the fact? Go ahead, Larry.
I'm sorry. Can I just? I want to put a finer point on. We're a media family. We have all the streamers, so it's kind of my problem there isn't so much. It needs to be accessible to everyone. Although I firmly believe that, but it's more that Star Trek is as a concept needs air. It's not a theatrical 2-hour we'll save the universe again.
Agreed.
Concept. And the streaming version of Star Trek Discovery was very bad about this. That one of the fun things for me as a Star Trek fan is that it's not just Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. It's to be, not to be. That is the question. It's everybody else, right? There's Sulu, and that he likes botany, and he fences sometimes, and he does this, and Uhura sings. Sings like an angel. Everybody's got, Chekhov is insane about his pride with Russia. Everybody's got a little thing. Scotty's kind of a drunk. I don't know. He seems to handle it, but. That they did that over the course of seasons, right?
Yes.
And I could not tell you the name of the bridge crew of Discovery. And I watched every episode of that show.
Well, it was the dreadlock. I'm sorry, it was the dreadlock lady's birthday the other day, and they put it on Facebook, and they had the full name of her character, and I knew her. And forgive me, everybody, I don't remember her African name. She had a great national African name, but her first name was Joanna, and I'm like, that's the first time I've ever heard or seen reference to that. And absolutely, Larry, no, it was so embarrassing that literally Pike in that first episode of the second season is like, hey, let's go around the horn because I don't know anybody's name, and it's like, yeah, neither do we, and that's ridiculous. And again, these shows
get much better,
and also again, like you said, having only 10 or even 13 or 15 episodes like Discovery initially did, not enough. And we never got to know these people. And it was so idiosyncratic about just Michael Burnham. Oh, here's Booker and Burnham, Booker. And it's like, that's all they gave us. And it's like, no, this, I understand it. Well, that's what the original show was. Really, it was the Kirk show. Yeah, I know. That was the 1960s. And Michael Piller, thank God, in the 80s went, hey, listen, instead of focusing on the planet and problem of the week, let's make a Worf show. Let's make a Deanna show. Let's make a Riker show. Let's make a Data show. And it's like, yeah, you've got this ensemble cast. I believe, and I made a short about this regarding Sam Kirk, which is the biggest missed opportunity.
Agreed.
My God, 30 episodes, and this guy is, I'll have another beer. That's about all we know about Sam Kirk. And it's so dumb. And I was like, oh, this is cool. We're going to learn about Sam Kirk. I mean, again, it doesn't, it fits in, you can fit the slice or slide this in a canon without really screwing up. What was it called, Larry? The original episode with
Operation Annihilate.
Operation Annihilate with the rubber vomit alien. Yes, I thought it looked like to me it looked like joke vomit.
Yeah, joke. Yeah, that works.
But we'll accept pancakes. That's absolutely right.
I just thought it would be cool if the guy that Paul Wesley they hired for Kirk, like hire that guy, or like.
Just like Shatner, exactly.
Yeah, I think the George Kirk guy actually would play a
Shatner with a mustache, right?
Yeah.
Originally, yes, attaboy. Very good, Pete. Yes, I mean, it's the thing. Like, here's a great opportunity to like, okay, who was the? And also, I made the point on the short. Yeah, you guys are jerks calling him Sam because I love that in What Are Little Girls Made Of? Tell me about Sam, your brother, George Samuel Kirk. You're the only person that calls him Sam. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Not anymore. They all call him Sam. And Sam's a great guy. How do we know? Well, you keep telling us, but you really don't show us. And I really thought in Strange New World Season 3, the perfect opportunity was that Farragut episode where Sam Kirk, they could have paid him a little bit more money that week to have more than 5 lines. Yeah. And Larry, I'm convinced that he's a 5-line and under actor. And no disrespect to him because I'm sure he's capable of more.
You mean Paul Wesley, right?
No. I'm talking about Sam Kirk.
Oh, Sam Kirk. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't tell you because they don't give him anything to do.
An opportunity instead of, and again, I get it. It's fine that it was Spock that gave him the pep talk that made him go back to the bridge. But if he's frustrated and I don't know if I can do this, how about his brother? How about his brother that can go, Jim, you're blowing it. Don't you realize this is what you've been waiting your whole life for, man? You're in the chair. This is great. And I know you can do it. If you have any doubt, it's what I always say about Spock and Kirk's story in Wrath of Khan, where I don't know, I'm getting old or whatever. And the subtext of Spock is, hey, you got this, I got this, we got this. We've been through this a million times. This isn't any different. We're going to be fine. And then the sad moment of, wow, we made it. And he looks and there's the empty chair. And oh my God, what happened? And that's beautiful. And again, they earned it over 20 years. But if you're establishing, we know enough about George Kirk, Sam Kirk, if you will, that they could have really explored that. We've had 30 episodes. We got dick. We got nothing. And that's bullshit. I'm sorry. Pisses me off. I want that.
John, let me ask you a question, right? Let's talk canon for a second. Does it matter, right, with this audio drama? Does it lead to something? Are we hoping Larry mentioned something about, like, maybe we get a movie out of this or get something that's, like, what would it, if somebody's like, yes, it is canon, and for whatever reason, does that lead to something other than just the fact that it is canon?
And I'm glad, Pete, because I meant to answer your previous question as well, and this ties into it. My suspicion is that Secret Hideout is going to be going through their Secret Hideout exit, and it'll be done. And I believe this era will be regarded in some alternate universe fashion, or kind of like Mabenga's daughter of, okay, that's over there, and we'll never discuss it again. And, she's up in a safe, happy, don't worry, Daddy, everything's fine. And you never have to think about me again. And so I don't expect this to lead to something else because I think the new owners are going to come in with new ideas and be like, all right, that's fine. And also not to piss off this Discovery Strange New World group and say, hey, we gave you, when it's done, we gave you 10 years. That's a lot of Star Trek. That is your Star Trek. It's going to be there on Paramount Plus for eternity. And we'll even, if there's a market, who knows, we will continue to make Discovery books. although I haven't seen any since the show went off the air. They are doing Strange New Worlds books. My buddy John Jackson Miller has written one, and I know David Mack has a new one that's coming out in a couple weeks. So no, I think that's gonna, if anything is going to survive, it might be Strange New Worlds, just because it's an opportunity to write more Pike Crew stories, the way we got great Pike Crew tie-in novels. Larry, did you ever read any like The Rift or the Peter David wrote?
Tie-in novels, yeah, sure. I mean, Peter David's Imzadi is great.
Of the Pike stories.
No, not the
Okay.
recent ones. I don't think they.
No, I'm not even talking about the recent ones. I'm even talking about the old ones, like Vulcan's Glory. That's really where number one story.
I mean,
comes
probably,
from.
but I don't recall. I was eating those things like antacid when I was in college.
No, I hear you, man.
I'm a little. I don't think they can do anything though going forward about Secret Hideout stuff surviving, because they licensed that stuff, right?
Right.
So I honestly think
be there probably. Don't you think the reruns will still be there, or the old shows will still be there?
I mean probably, but I really think that no one, like you said, they're not doing anything now. Nobody's buying the shirts. It's I think that people are going to remember it like the Dick Ebersol Saturday Night Live years, where that was the thing that happened, but like the wrong guys were in charge. So there was some good stuff out of it. Nobody's saying different, but we're just not going to talk about it.
What's the Eddie Murphy? What's the one thing people are going to look back and be like, this was good?
Anson Mount. And it's a shame, because other than what they did for him in the first season, I think he's been a supporting character on his own show ever since.
Absolutely. Like my kid, he's a 18-year-old college freshman, and he calls him Captain Pussy. And like,
I get it.
I really feel like I should correct him, but I can't. You're right, man.
Well, season 3.
I don't know why they're doing that.
Melanie's
the girlfriend in his own show.
Yes, Melanie Scrivano is like, I think, the MVP of season 3 of Strange New Worlds, and I wish that there was more time and screen time and story given to the other characters, but still. He's really subordinate to her in season 3. Are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? And I get it to a degree, but also it's like, he's the damn captain. I'm sorry. I don't think Archer or even Janeway would not be sitting down and be a supporting character on her own show. Yeah. I'm sorry. Being the captain, and again, maybe it contradicts what I was saying about, Burnham, that Discovery was the Burnham show. No. The captain is important. I grant you that. But also the rest of the crew is as well. And again, that was the lesson learned during the Rick Berman era of Star Trek, that, but there was never any doubt that Sisko was the man. There was never any doubt that Janeway was the woman, but we still got great stories about the other crew members. And Pike has been, I guess, I think his wife had a baby at the beginning of season 2. And that's why he wasn't as involved in some of those early season 2 episodes. And also, again, it's not like this stuff has to be done by September 30th because the fall season is starting. And that's another reason why I keep hearing these people on podcasts and reading articles. Season 3 was really tough because we had the writer's strike. So you stopped thinking about Star Trek during the writer's strike. Give me a break. Give me a break. And it took a long time for us to make it. Well, then take a little bit more time and get it right before you put it out. But it's
very disappointed.
So what do you chalk up the fact that we like Khan? Is it because of Nicholas Myers being involved in it? Is it because it's not television and separate group of people?
I think the Badinskis are leaving it alone. And in fact, and it's another, I'm glad you brought it back to Khan, Pete, because I love that there was some real science fiction in episode 4 to explain how they wanted to deal with the mind worms. And one of their scientists, one of the augments, is like, hey, we can use silica and grow silica to infect the worms. And silica, I guess, as it's explained, I don't know if this is real or not, but it sounded like good science fiction to me, that silica are these little microbes that form glass or whatever, and they would create some sort of like insecticide essentially to spray the worms with that, and literally they're kind of the building blocks of glass, so that they would almost be like breathing in glass, and they will rip them apart from the inside. Again, I don't know if that's real science or not, but it sounded great to me. And it's like, wow, I forgot. That's right. This is a science fiction show. Gee, I've really missed science fiction in Star Trek. Because Strange New Worlds, I mean, we mentioned the puppet episode earlier. I'm sorry, that resolution with season 10, very Buffy, very Doctor Who, no Star Trek in that resolution whatsoever.
It's an atonal mess. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, they don't know. And as a science fiction writer yourself, they don't know how to write science fiction.
I think
it's self-evident.
Giant problem with Captain Letterkenny, I keep forgetting her name. Archer's.
Oh yeah, Melanie Battelle, Captain Battelle.
Battelle, yeah,
she is great in Letterkenny. That's
I could not wait. I was like, all right, they've solved her Gorn thing. Now this chick's gonna be half Gorn and half human. Finally, some fucking science fiction, because now the captain's got a half lizard girlfriend, and he's gonna be like, "Hey, baby," she's like, "No, turn the fire down. I need it 70 degrees in here." Like, yes, let's fucking go. And they're like, "Oh no, she's like some statue now." Okay. It's all over. Nothing has any consequence at all. And even in the old show, stuff had consequence, even if you didn't realize it between episodes. But like at the end of City on the Edge of Forever, you're like, oh man, Captain Kirk, he's not having a good day, is he?
Even Reyna in No Requiem or Requiem for Methuselah, the android that creates, he's in love with her.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there have been a couple times where Kirk's heart's been ripped out and everything. Even the disappointment of Kodos's daughter in Conscience of the King.
Yeah.
I mean, man. No, and also the other thing that bothers me about the final episode. Here's another thing I hate. The final episode of Strange New Worlds. Okay, we get the 10-minute. Oh, if only. Oh, well, here's a gift. We're gonna have a wonderful life in the span of 10 minutes. Okay, that's fine. But it kind of negates what happens at the end of Menagerie and the Cage. More so the Menagerie, obviously. That, if he's going back to Talos 4, shouldn't he be thinking about Battelle and not Vina? That one-time bang that he had back in the pilot?
Yeah. You ruined another one for me, John. Thanks.
Sorry. I know. So that really disappointed me, I have to admit. And again, we'll see what happens with the next 16 that we have left. I love that. And again, another reason why I believe that don't worry, where our pain will eventually end is, the reason why, first of all, the reason why Strange New Worlds ended the way that it did was they weren't sure they're getting a fourth season. So that's kind of why they put the button on it the way they did. And that's fine. And I'm glad there wasn't a cliffhanger, because again, these guys don't earn cliffhangers, but also, that, they're like, all right, one more season. That's it. Oh, but we have so much more story. Well, fine. We'll give you a 2-hour movie. No, that's not enough. And they literally went back and forth to finally, 6 episodes for season 5. Fine, whatever. And again, they can't wait to tell us, oh, well, that's going to take us all the way to Pike handing over the Enterprise to Kirk. And, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, again, that Farragut episode sucked. I'm sorry, I didn't like it. I didn't buy it. I don't like Paul Wesley as Kirk. I've said it a million times. I really hate that Scotty is now a baby. I really hate that.
Younger than Kirk. Like what?
And Kirk, I was talking to a Jewish friend of mine, and I was telling him, because he finally saw the season, and I'm like, Kirk is introducing Scotch to Scotty. I'm like, that's like me going, hey, have you ever tried a bagel? They're really good. You should try this. I don't know if you're aware of that. They're excellent. Come on. Am I wrong?
No, I like that joke though. I thought that was pretty funny. That Scotty becomes an alcoholic at Spock's fake bachelor party. I'm like,
can I ask you guys a serious question here? clearly these people are inept at what they're doing, right? Like we all agree, and I think most people do. I don't know if there's anybody out there saying, "Great job," like So how are they continuing forward? Like, and we know the end is near, but how in today's day and age don't these people get replaced very quickly? Like once they realize.
But they're hired by Kurtzman, and if you heard, and maybe you didn't, Pete, but the guy who played the cyborg in Section 31, that movie, was on one of my favorite Trek YouTube things. And I'm so glad that Larry mentioned the Tachyon Pulse.
That guy does a great job.
Okay.
He's fantastic. And every episode is only about 10 minutes long. And he gets right to the point. And it's a lot of rumors, but I appreciate his point of view. And he likes a lot of new Trek more than I do, but that's fine. But on Trek Central, or no, Sean Ferrick's show, the Irish guy. Trek,
yeah.
I forget. I want to say Trek Central, and if I'm wrong, I apologize.
Yeah.
But he's great, and he had the cyborg on, and the actor, and he goes, "Well, Alex Kurtzman was telling me that the Star Trek audience is dying, so we have to try these different things to excite a new audience and everything." And it's like, no, you just have to do good Star Trek. And also, I got no problem with Star Trek Scouts, the preschool new thing that they made. Larry, I don't know if you tried it at all.
I saw the trailer, and I got a kid, so 10 years ago I would have been psyched for that. I don't have to watch Caillou and Pengu.
Pete, did you see Star Trek Scouts at all?
No, I did not.
It's fine.
Paw Patrol for Star Trek.
Yeah, exactly. Well said, Larry. I couldn't think of a more. I was going to say Teletubbies.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that's Paw Patrol's a little more recent, and even that's not that recent. But yeah, exactly, and that's fine. But Larry and I grew up watching the 70s animated show, which was hard sci-fi for its time.
Yeah. It was Star Trek.
It was Lou Scheimer, the guy in charge of Filmation. I saw him at San Diego, and he's like, as far as we were concerned, we were doing the 4th season of Star Trek.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was animated, but we got Sam Peoples, and we got Koenig and Larry Niven to write really good science fiction stories that fit in on Saturday or Sunday morning, because it was also on Sunday mornings as well. Animated show, not the next season, I think, was in Sunday reruns. But regardless, they were great. They were great, and they were smart. And also, we just needed the original series. I started watching when I was like only six years old, and I'm like, oh, the guy with the ears. And also, given that it was the Apollo age, I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, well, 300 years from now, we could be tooling around the galaxy. Sure, why not? My God, we've left Earth, so it's possible. And sure, a big enough ship to have a crew. Okay, I'm sold. And the guy with the ears was interesting, and the action was cool, and the horror was great. That's the one thing I will give to Strange New World season 3 was they leaned more into horror, and it's like, no, that's good because the original series was a horror show in a lot of episodes. So sure, why not?
But the animated series was created by people that respected what came before. It sounds very much like Picard season 3, which I think almost everybody will say is one of the few things that come out of this that everyone hopes survives the nuclear explosion of everything not being relevant anymore, right? Or will that go by the wayside as well?
It'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I don't know either, buddy. I didn't mean to step on you there, Pete. You finish your thought.
No. So yeah, no, it's just funny because it's like everybody's like that guy, right? Metalis, he understands the concept that like it seems like the actors, to your point about Jerry Ryan, dug what he was doing, and they're like, yeah, no, sorry, but like
an academy, their legacy, literally. It united both the younger audience and the newer audience, and we're like, we want this. Well, we're giving you Academy instead, and it's set in the Discovery type. No, stop it. And again, I agree. No, and Wes made the same point, Pete. I kind of believe that there's a bit of jealousy on Kurtzman's part of, no, we're not doing that. And also the reason why Metalis knows what he's doing was, he was an assistant on Voyager or Enterprise, one of the two shows. And so, yeah, he saw good Star Trek being made and how to make it, and even not the best Star Trek, but at least good enough as far as what he observed because I do think every show, Deep Space Nine was amazing. I think a third of Voyager was exceptional, a third of it was ordinary, and a third of it not so good. But that's just television, and even Deep Space Nine had its misfires every now, or just boring episodes that really, whatever it is. But again, they had 26 episodes, and that's another reason why where it's like, oh, we only have 10 episodes. Yeah, so make 10 good ones. And again, I don't buy that. Oh, the writer's strike and the actor's strike. No, you guys don't know what you're doing. And also, again, based on that Cyborg interview that he did with Sean Ferrick and everything, yeah, they don't believe that traditional Star Trek will sell to a younger audience. I couldn't disagree more.
They haven't tried, so
No,
why do they think that, right?
Every now, Larry, I always find at least 3 episodes of every season of Strange New Worlds, and I'm like, all right, that was all right. That was decent.
I just don't trust them anymore. Like Pete said, it's hard to find somebody that didn't like Picard season 3. I absolutely hated it because it wasn't Picard season 1. Like it was. By the time season 3 comes around, they're giving us what we want. I was like, I don't care anymore. You made the whole party suck, and now everybody's got fresh clothes on and you got new drinks. I don't care anymore.
And that's the only wrinkle of this era regarding Picard that I wouldn't mind if they say, yeah, that was an alternate universe too.
None of that.
Making him an android. It's like, what are you doing? You really couldn't come up with anything.
Never addressing it again.
Well, they kind of did in season 2.
Yeah, when he got hit by a car and had red blood on the street. Like, what?
Oh, that's true.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Again.
10 forward's a bar now, everybody. Just like in the old days. Oh,
crap. It's funny when you said Jason Isaacs, I was thinking of another Jason that I know that it worked on the show. I thought you were going that way, but then I'm like, oh no, he's talking about the British actor that, of course, was the captain in Discovery. And it's so weird because actually, I didn't mind the first couple episodes, and I found him intriguing as this captain that we were following and everything. And then it just got weird and creepy. And
I'm sorry, John, but at the time I said Jason Isaacs looks like he's in a Star Trek episode. He has the Academy points. He has a serious thing. Doug Jones looked like he was in a Star Trek episode. It was an alien we'd never seen before, but that looked like Star Trek. Nothing else I don't know. I feel bad because Jason Isaacs is an awesome actor. And they did nothing with his character.
I was hoping in the second season that would get a regular universe version of him that was a prisoner somewhere or something had happened to him and they found him.
Why didn't they go that way?
Well, because again, they were too busy making crap. Although we got Pike out of season 2 of Discovery. Here, annoying critic, good comment here. He says he didn't like in Picard season 3 when Riker told Picard, get off my bridge before you kill us all. Was pretty bad. Yeah, but I forgave it. It's fine. There are enough great moments in Picard season 3 that I forgive the missteps. I still don't understand why the Dominion and the Borg got together and that was never explained. And it's a shame because instead of the Borg, they really should have made it a Dominion story. That would have been a much more interesting story. But whatever, that's another choice. And who knows? Again, a lot of times that stuff comes from upstairs. I do understand that. And eventually the show we end up getting on the air might be noted to death. And it strikes me, especially given how many showrunners, another television writer buddy of mine made the point that, on that staff, they got a lot of people that are used to being the showrunner themselves. So I bet there's a lot of arguments in that writer's room. And I think it needs to be this way. Well, I've done several shows. Well, so have I. Well, and I've done Oscar-winning movies. Yeah, well, whatever. That's my Akiva Goldsman, I'm assuming. But yeah, they truly they have abused my goodwill. I go in every week optimistic that okay, maybe I'll like this one a little better. And again, I'll even point to 3 episodes this year that I thought were okay. I thought that the resolution of the cliffhanger, the first episode was fine. I wish it wasn't the Gorn, but I thought it was all right. I thought the zombie episode, I didn't care about the zombies. They were an obstacle. That's fine. I liked Pike and M'Benga talking. I thought that was very good. And I appreciated the first episode where the nurse's eyes get burnt out and this big mystery was involved. The resolution sucked. It was really stupid. But at least the first part was okay. Well, that's interesting. They're in a building and it's different time periods and all that stuff. And also this weird, what does this stuff mean? I don't know. Okay, it was a mystery box. And as usual with mystery boxes with this crew, they fail. I mean, unfortunately, they learned these are the bad lessons from J.J. Abrams and his team of writers. Set up a mystery box and then not pay it off well. So, well, those were the three that I kind of liked. But the documentary sucked. I thought 4.5 Vulcans. I was offended, not on a personal, how dare you besmirch the Vulcans or anything. It was stupid and not funny. That's it. I mean, again, fine, have fun with the Vulcans if you want. I think you've already kind of had 2 misfires prior to that when to bring in Spock did the switcheroo, and also now Spock is human. I mean, again, they're bad I Dream of Jeannie episodes. They're bad Bewitched. Larry knows what we've suffered through those reruns back when we were. Actually, they were okay because again, it was a goofy show. Go ahead. What do you got?
So better stories in your mind will bring the people back. Larry, I feel like you were hitting earlier that you think that it's going to need a little bit more work than that to entice new folks to come around.
I'm good with if they do good stories. That will be you build it and they will come. Like what's happening now started from Discovery until now is that serious fans of Star Trek are saying this is awful, except CBS and Paramount were buying press where Entertainment Weekly is going, this is the best thing since sliced wheat bread. And I would chat with folks all the time about Rotten Tomatoes and having critics go, this is the best or this is the worst. It doesn't matter. It's 30 guys that got paid to write that. Do you really think it's that like direct layer that they have guys that they're paying off to promote stuff? Yeah. Because honestly, I think too, especially in the YouTube crowd. No, and I do want to hear more of your thoughts. Just the end of my point is that the audience thing is always wildly above the critics, and it's because the audience is rooting for you. So if they like it, they're going to really like it because you gave them what they wanted. And even if you don't, they're still going to be like, well, I wanted that. And they tried, and that's something that is so different with the critic responses. So if you have guys like the three of us telling all our friends, no, Star Trek's great now, that's going to have more value than a critic going, oh, they did this with Discovery. They put them on the cover and had flopped the picture so all the insignias were on the right side. And that's hilarious. Literally everyone I knew, just like blood was coming out of our eyes because it's such a dumb thing that no one cares about except the people who care about it. Well, and boned it. Yeah. No, anyway. I think especially in both the audio podcast world and in the YouTube critic podcast world, they latched on to a lot of these fan shows that are excited about it, like Sean Farrick's show, like Jesse Gender, the critic, the trans critic. That again, I am always interested in their opinion because I don't always agree with it, but I do want to hear that young person perspective of, no, I really like this. Here's why, and that's like okay, because I do absolutely believe, and in the case of Jesse, it's not their first Star Trek. They're old Next Generation fans. They grew up on it and everything, but they like the new stuff, and that's great. And I do believe people who never saw Star Trek before, that Discovery was their first bite of the apple and have loved all the new stuff. Sure, I understand. Well, what's the problem? This is great. This is fun. This is diverse. We've got representation in a way that Star Trek wasn't allowed to have in the 90s. We had the one episode of Jadzia and her past lover, her past husband, now they're women and everything, or however that relationship was, but their past lives, and they want to get back together. It was a controversial episode. Even the one with the genderless aliens, and Riker falls in love with the person, and that person is converted back to appreciate their society more. And again, it's like, man, that's heavy stuff. But again, I know there was pushback in the 80s and 90s for stuff like that. So it is great that there is that kind of representation. That's fine. But what are you doing with these new characters? Not much. I mean, Gray and
I always forget the name of the human woman, the character on Discovery.
Adira.
What's her name?
Adira?
Was it Adira?
Dude, and Gray, right? Weren't they the couple? Yeah.
That had the trill in her body?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who knows?
Yeah, no, I'll go with you, Larry.
Show. I didn't pay attention.
But yeah, other than the two of them professing their love to each other, Gray had nothing to do on that ship. Yeah. And Adira was always, I don't know if I can do this. I'm not experienced. It's like 5 seasons or 3 seasons of that. She was only on from 3 to 5. The last 3 seasons. But it's like, give them something to do. And especially, well, she's human, so therefore she's not in contact with her past Trill lives. Well, you just took away the one thing that makes Trills interesting. Right. And again, that's a great idea. No, that's a bad idea. And again, I would, Pete, Lair, you guys heard enough of my shows. Usually, and I'd get the guys to agree with me. Here's another example of what's wrong with this episode, guys. Bad writing. And it's like, yeah, bad writing. They don't know what the hell they're doing.
They really think it through.
Bad words. Go ahead.
It seems they just don't think it through.
Why would they mess with a fan base that has historically, going back to the letter writing campaigns, been very active and vocal, to your point, John? Why would they F with like people like this and put out product that they know they're going to get a lot of pushback? If it was any other franchise, I could see them just saying, hey, take it and enjoy it. But like with Star Trek fans, yeah, people have opinions. It's very strange to me.
The reason why this show endures is because beyond the episodes, we've literally had 50 plus years of novels and comics and tie-ins and people that, as I always use the metaphor, color within the lines. They don't fuck with canon. And that's why, again, I that's my original question of should, I'm saying is on the title, but should Star Trek Con be canon? And my vote is yes. Because, again, another quote that I saw, Fire and Mac were on, I forget whose podcast, but I watched that as well. And Fire's like, everything I've written, whether it's a tie-in novel or the stuff I'm writing now, I try to adhere to canon. That is my goal, is to make it fit. Now, obviously, she is not the final voice in Discovery or Picard or the other shows that she has worked on, and I recognize that. But it was nice to hear her say that. And that's why this walks between the raindrops, and this story fits very nicely between Space Seed and Wrath of Khan, and gives us interesting explanations of why he was as angry as he was in Wrath of Khan, and also, again, giving us a real story for Marla McGivers, which is great. And even hey, they're even like doing the DEI thing. We got 2 augment women that are in a relationship, and even through in vitro give birth to a baby. And it's like, yeah, that's awesome. That's great. These people, these supporting characters are getting more storylines in this podcast than the other shows. I mean, I think they do a slightly better job with Strange New Worlds. I don't agree with a lot of the character choices in terms of what they do. As much as I adore Jess Bush and can look at her for hours, and I won't deny that. I really hate the Spock Chapel. Oh, we had a romance. It's like, I'm sorry. That's why I really think Lon is gonna, like, something's gonna happen that's gonna wipe away all their memories, and they're not gonna remember that stuff. Or we are gonna get sad Spock, who Lon dies in the last episode, and I'll never go back to my human emotions again. Wah wah wah. And it's just like, I hate the way they play Spock. I've said it a million times. Yeah. He's like a freshman in high school who supposedly, and much like Scotty being introduced Scotch by Kirk, Mabenga, here, let me give you a Vulcan heart. Yeah. Hey, have you tried bagels? Here, try this. And it's like, are you kidding? Where's the cultural appropriation complaint about that, where this human is given the Vulcan a Vulcan harp? I'm like, and they always have to be first. With this this is a great opportunity. This is the first time Kirk and Spock really got to be friends. Oh, but we don't need that. We don't need that. Oh, now it's a mind meld. Oh, now I really understand you, and now we can be friends. Crap. Hack writing. You got plenty of time to plant seeds, and they had been planting seeds with Kirk and Spock. Just an occasional line here and there. That's all we need. That's all we need. But no. Now a mind meld. Oh, now we're friends. Crap.
John, Question for you about Khan. For a show that is called Khan, I feel like Naveen Andrews is not as focal of a character as what I thought he would be. And I guess in an audio drama, like, yeah, it's different than a TV show. I understand a TV show, you do a number of episodes, you can't have the same person in every scene. But Larry, I don't know how far you are, but I would think you would have, you'd spend more time with Khan and less with the other characters.
I hear what you're saying, Pete, and Larry unfortunately has heard the first episode. I really thought
I liked it. I loved it.
Yeah, and I really thought episode 4, in the fact that Marla is telling him, hey, several of your people have died. We need to honor that. We need to have a funeral. And also the pushback that Marla has given Khan has kind of put them on equal footing. And I think we are seeing more moments, and especially in 4, where we're seeing some more of Khan lieutenants and how he's dealing with them. We got a little bit of it in episode 1. But I hear what you're saying. But I also do think that it is important to see Khan through the eyes of not only Marla, but the augments. And he really is a symbol as much as he is a character. So I don't mind them spending as much time as they are with the augments. It's that great theory that Orson Welles used to say, that he was in a play and he played Mr. Wu. And because back then it was okay for Orson Welles to play a character named Mr. Wu. And he said everybody was talking about Mr. Wu in the first act. Oh, Mr. Wu, oh, Mr. Wu. And he doesn't show up until literally the very last moment of Act 1. And then the curtain comes up. Mr. Wu is here. Boom. And it's like, and everyone, he said at intermission, be like, man, how about that Mr. Wu? Isn't that Mr. Wu amazing? Whatever. And they're all
line, right? I mean, he was the master of that. People talk about the character, and then finally when he appears.
Yeah. No, so yeah, like I said, I was feeling that way too, Pete, until this episode. And it's like, all right, okay. And also, again, they seem to have what they think are solutions to their issues. And that's cool. And I mean, like, even to create that silica to infect the worms, they're like, hey, we can make it from the shells, from the shellfish of this planet. And it's like, okay, there you go. And they're thinking, and they're trying to sell, and we'll build stronger huts to live in, and we'll have constant security in case the worms show up, and we'll try and kill them and stuff. I mean, all that is really, I'm trying to keep out some of the details so Larry has something to
Larry,
I keep telling you.
Cover your ears. I got 43-year-old spoilers here.
I don't care about spoilers at all.
So you like the experience.
Yeah.
So here's where we got, this is what we have to look forward to. Tell me if I missed anything, right? Marla has to die. Setting off 6 has to blow up, right?
Right.
Is there anything in between their plot points that like they have to touch on for everybody to be happy?
Well, again, I think introducing this idea from the historian on the Excelsior going, why didn't the Reliant realize that there were only 5 planets after the fact? Something's wrong here, and we need to know that. We need to know and it really better not just be, oh, that's interesting. Anyway, back to the Khan shit. No, and it's great because it elevates the framing of the story to like, all right, now there's a problem regarding the period of the Excelsior going back to SETI Alpha 5 and getting the straight story. And I loved how Sulu was like, hey, we know who Khan is. He was a dick. He was Khan was a dick. I can speak from personal experience. He was a dick. And it's like, all right, that's cool that he'd be so against it. And I liked that this story. It's like, wait a minute. He was also a human being. What caused him to get so angry? What happened there? All right. So, and I'm glad. All right. It all makes sense. Great. So we're going back to SETI Alpha 5. We'll go through the archives and find out what we have. But I kind of like that. She's like, hey, did Kirk know? And I'm like, Tuvok, what are you nuts? Of course, Kirk should know. Fine. How about the Reliant? That was 20 years later. And why didn't they notice that there's only 5 planets when there used to be 6? I don't buy it, Larry. I think there's got to be an answer to that question.
I hope so.
Yeah. So
I will. While you were talking, I do have one thing. I got a split in a second, but
okay, man.
But
I feel bad that I only had Wes on for
like
a few minutes.
minutes.
You're making good points and everything. But
the one thing I am, Pete said something that made me excited, and like, what are you excited about Star Trek? I love that the Legos are coming. I've been dying for Star Trek
Oh,
Legos
yeah.
for like 25 years.
Sure.
So that's
Merch. Hey, man, it's all about. Sadly, folks, it's all about the merch.
But
That's
that's
why we
not.
keep
I
making
mean,
Star Trek.
it's a two-handed thing, right? I mean, I want to buy the shirt. I want to buy the models. I want to buy the Legos. And if you do shitty like stories, like one of the things about the Legos I'm so excited about, the first thing they did was Next Gen Crew and the Enterprise D. Okay, I get that, but that's going to be I want little sets, right? It's going to be so easy to do the Guardian Forever, and then you get, a couple of hobos, and that's a $30 set, right? And you do like Vasquez Rocks, like here's an environment with, and then here's some other guys. That's a $40 set. Like, give me all that stuff. Anyway, I talked to John Price about this on our show, and he went off and like, oh, I just want a whole line of ships. And then the ancillary things will be like just nacelles. Like, give me like 14 nacelles in a box, and I'll build my own ships, right? And because people love Star Trek and it's like they don't want us to. Like, here's some friggin' crap, and then we have Star Trek on the outside. Now just eat it.
Well, they even mess with the models of the ships where, hey, guess what? Discovery has retractable or not retractable.
Yeah, unattached nacelles.
Unattached nacelles. What? How is that? It looks cool. I'll grant you that. It sure looks just like when the saucer separation would happen on Next Generation. It looks cool, and even that made sense. Where okay, the civilians will be on the saucer, and the battle bridge will fight the bad guys. Fine. This makes no sense. None. And also, I hated in the final season when the two starships went into the planet and dug into the desert and everything. It's like, you guys tried too hard. They have a lot of stuff that looks cool, but it doesn't make sense from a story standpoint. And again, they don't know how to spend their money. So, Larry, I'll let you go.
Thanks, John. Hey, Pete, that was cool talking to you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
And I love Star Trek. It doesn't sound like it, but I do.
Dork Court Tuesdays and Fridays.
Yeah, and sometimes Wednesdays. It's just been talking with our buddies about stuff we like.
Look for the dork like
Dior. We're dressed like this.
Yeah, no, that's
all right,
great.
Good night, guys.
All right, Captain Stacy, good talking to you, man. There we go.
John, I got two more things before I say goodnight to you. Number one, George Takei. I have not met him before. He's going to be up in New York. I'm looking forward to getting him to sign a comic of his life that he just recently published, as you're probably well aware. I will.
Yes, sir.
I'll drop that he should join you in the discussion on Word Balloon. So we'll see if I get here. He may not be at his table. You never know. I basically wanted to join the call tonight. I want you to be a happy man. You are, but like with all this, and I know the disappointment of a fandom, and like when you get there, like we're in a bad period here, I guess, and it's just about.
We'll get through it. It's all right, man. Dude, this as comic book fans, we understand when a creative team that we don't like takes over a book, and it's like. All right. Now, obviously, the change happens faster in comics than it clearly has for the last 8 years of our suffering of New Trek and everything. But I knew this wouldn't last forever, and I hope that, given how Skydance has rejected most of their ideas, as we hear, I don't know if it's definite or not, but it certainly seems that way, and especially. The agreement or lack of an agreement of, well, we need 5 seasons. Well, you're not getting 5 seasons. We'll give you a 2-hour movie. Oh, that's not enough. Well, we're not giving you 10 episodes. All right, and they finally had to negotiate to 6. And Alonzo Myers and Akiva Goldsman, Henry Alonzo Myers, they've been very candid about that's what they're getting and that's why the 5th season is only 6 episodes. They were only going to get to a 2-hour movie, so it's good that they convinced that. But also the Tawny Newsome workplace comedy that she was pitching doesn't seem like it's getting any traction. The one thing that might be getting traction, and I think Skydance might be interested in, and as much as I'd rather that they look towards a future that would be post Picard season 3, but if they're going to do another prequel, I'm all for President Archer's show that they're proposing, and there was actually even some news about that. So yeah. So yeah, man. I'm fine. I mean, honestly, I'm okay. Don't worry about me.
Yeah, I know how much you love this stuff, and it stinks because my wife, she was big into the JJ movies, right? It might not be everybody's cup of tea, and I have to say, everything I said is my own personal belief here, right?
Of course,
Obviously, of course. Who am I? I mean nothing to anybody. So, I can't make a TV show, right? That's one thing from Kevin Smith that I learned. Like the stuff that you like and try not to crap on the other stuff because it's really hard to do this stuff, right? But at the same time, it ain't good, at least to me. Either way, whatever.
And it's no different than Star Wars fans. And I think after this many years of a franchise enduring, I think there is a fair, reasonable expectation from a fan to go, okay, we know how the box is shaped. Tell stories inside that box. Don't try to make. I mean, again, they love the gimmicks. Strange New Worlds loves the gimmicks, and they are convinced because the kids love the gimmicks, and so we're going to give you more. Hey, look, here's Puppet Pike, yay! And it's like, no,
you're right.
Can you?
Once in a while, that's great, but like, and I've chatted in the past and talked about the Orville and how for whenever that aired, it had the essence of what we were looking for. Once again, not everybody. And it didn't succeed on network television and had to make its way over to streaming. So you're right from a business perspective, probably, things don't make money anymore. But the essence of what it was, and they had a lot of old Star Trek people, I think, behind the scenes producing that. And Seth MacFarlane clearly was somebody that loved Star Trek, and I have absolutely no idea how he didn't get sued. I would have thought that is so close. There's no way a lawsuit. Well, he must be very friendly with a lot of people in Hollywood, but I don't know. Like a show like that, right? Like I don't know.
Well, it was the Orville was different enough that they can't claim copyright infringement or anything, and it certainly was, especially initially, it was much more of a parody, and you're not going to get sued for a parody and everything. Hell, that even went back to old time radio. Jack Benny, the movie studio tried to sue him for a parody of a movie that he did on his radio show, and the judge's like, no, this is parody. Parody's fair game, and ever since then. And that's why SNL doesn't get sued for the things they make fun of and stuff. It's like, no, we'll see what happens. Pretty different world now.
The way things are going, but I mean, back to comic. It's exciting. I never really listened to audio dramas. I think they're doing a good job. I'm looking forward to kind of where it's going. Whether or not it's canon, I don't know. It'll live in my head. I didn't read the books back in the day, so I'm enjoying getting to see sort of why Khan was so vindictive when they showed up there to investigate. What were they looking for? The Genesis planet, a good planet to drop that bomb or whatever it was.
Right.
Yeah. But,
I don't know what. Yeah. Again, I think this development in this episode opens a very interesting plot point that I wasn't expecting, and it's intriguing, and I hope that they take it to the goal line and give us a really interesting nugget. And whether it's canon or not, you're right, it doesn't matter as long as it's entertaining. And so far, after 4 episodes, I think it's entertaining, and obviously you do too. So,
John,
all right.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thanks to the regular crew for Trek Watch Live. I look forward to watching you guys next time chat about all this. And as always, I'll see you on YouTube.
All right, man. Thanks for your help, Pete. Take it easy. I want to apologize to Wes. I'm sorry. I feel like I short shrifted him given the amount of time we spent with Pete. But, there were a lot to cover. I also wanted to point out a Bond story. Did I put up the Bond thing? I guess I didn't. Did I not? I did not. I'll save it for next week. Very interesting stuff. Not a big thing. I'll even tell you now. Apparently, Amazon has been messing with photos of Bond where he's holding a gun, and now all of a sudden it's just a fist. And it's like, well, we want to downplay the gun thing. It's like, then pick other screen caps to promote your movies. There are plenty of other moments of Bond without him holding a gun. You don't have to, erase the gun and everything. This is the mentality we're fighting against, kids. I get it. I absolutely understand, but I don't know how to break it to you. The guy is licensed to kill. You know, you're not going to take the gun out of the Punisher's hand, are you? Maybe you will. I don't know. I got to check what Dan Ocean and Jimmy Palmiotti is doing with Frank Castle now that he's back. I'm excited for that. I'm really excited for that. I can't wait to read some of that stuff. It's going to be amazing. Well, thanks a lot for watching and listening, everybody. I really appreciate your attention. And, Art, Franco and Wayne and Mitch will be back. It might not be till later in October. It might not be till November. But I felt bad. I didn't want to. It became like a homework assignment for them to stay on top of even Wayne, who watches more than even I do on certain shows, has just been busy. And he's like, yeah, I haven't listened to episode 4 yet. And I don't want to spoil for him. And that's why I was happy to do the show without him. Franco is busy with his stuff. And Mitch just isn't feeling it yet for the podcast. So it's like, all right. So, no problem. Again. And I certainly want their opinions. And folks, this isn't the John is Right podcast by any stretch of the imagination. I hope you recognize that. Just giving my opinion. That's all. But I hope you enjoyed the talk tonight. And we'll do this again. We'll do it either next Friday or next Saturday and delve more into Star Trek Con, which I'm really enjoying and looking forward to episode 5. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Everybody stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy.